Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In this video, we'll discuss about legal aspects of business, Chapter 7, Payment of Bonus Act and Industrial Disputes Act. In this video, we'll cover Payment of Bonus Act, and in the next session, we'll see what is Industrial Disputes Act. So first, we are going to see the introduction part about the Bonus Act. Bonus is a concept referring to ex gratia payment or bounty or a payment by way of gift. Normally, the term bonus implies an extra payment over and above what is due to the person concerned given as a voluntary gift. Bonus is also one method of sharing of profits with the workers. However, with enactment of the Payment of Bonus Act 1965, the concept of bonus has undergone considerable change. The obligation to pay a minimum bonus irrespective of the financial results has turned bonus into additional statutory payment by an employer to his employees. Before the Payment of Bonus Act 1965, making of profit by an employer during an accounting year was a condition precedent to the claim of bonus. In other words, we can say that the bonus at the time could be aptly described as profit bonus. But under the present act, bonus has been recognized as a deferred wage which has no relation either to earning of profits or to payment of dividend by an establishment. It has been held by the Supreme Court that provisions of Section 10 making minimum bonus payable compulsory, whether there are profits in relevant accounting year or not, was not violative of Article 14 and Article 3(1) of the Constitution of India. We'll see the objectives of the Act. So, the objectives of the Act are to impose statutory liability upon the employer of every establishment covered by the Act to pay bonus to employees in the establishment, to define the principle of payment of bonus according to the prescribed formula, to provide for payment of minimum and maximum bonus and linking the payment of bonus with the scheme of set off and set on. It is one of the important topic, how much or what is the minimum and maximum bonus and linking the payment of bonus with the scheme of set off and set on. The fourth objective here is to provide machinery for enforcement of the liability for payment of bonus. Next we see the short title, extent and application. This act may be called by the Payment of Bonus Act 1965. It extends to the whole of India. Save as otherwise provided in this act, it shall apply to every factory and every other establishment in which 20 or more persons are employed on any day during an accounting year. It is provided that appropriate government may, after giving not less than 2 months notice of its intention to do, by notification in the official gazette, apply the provisions of this act with effect from such accounting year as may be specified in the notification to any establishment or class of establishments including and being a factory within the meaning of subclass 2 of class M of section 2 of the Factories Act 1948. Next we'll see the basic definitions under section 2. It follows some of the definitions here. First one is accounting year. Accounting year means in relation to a corporation, the year ending on the day on which the books and accounts of the corporation are to be closed and balanced. In relation to a company, the period in respect of which any profit and loss account of the company laid before it an annual general meeting is made up, whether that period is a year or not. In any other case, the year commencing on the first day of April, or if the accounts of the establishment maintained by an employer thereof are closed and balanced on any day other than 31st day of March. Then at the option of the employer, the year ending on the day on which its accounts are so closed and balanced. Next we'll see allocated allocable surplus. It comes under section 2.4. It means in relation to an employer being a company other than a banking company which has not made the arrangements prescribed under the Income Tax Act 1961 for the declaration and payment within India of the dividends payable out of its profits in accordance with the provisions of section 194 of the Income Tax Act 1961. 67% of the available surplus in an accounting year. In any other case, 60% of the available surplus. To the allocable surplus is the workers, so the share in the available surplus as defined in section 2.6. Next, appropriate government. It comes under section 2.5. It means in relation to an establishment in respect of which the appropriate government under the Industrial Disputes Act 1947 is the central government. In relation to any other establishment, the government of the state in which that other establishment is situated. Next, company. The meaning of company is any company as defined in section 3 of the Companies Act 1956 and includes a foreign company within the meaning of section 591 of the Act. Next, direct tax. It comes in under the section 212. It means any tax chargeable under the Income Tax Act 1961, the Super Profits Act 1963, the Companies Profit Surtax Act 1964, the Agricultural Income Tax Laws, and any other tax which having regard to its nature or incidents may be declared by the central government by notification in the official gazette to be direct tax for the purpose of this act. Next, employee. It comes under section 213. It means any person other than an apprentice employed on a salary or wage not exceeding 10,000 per annum in any industry to do any skilled or unskilled manual, supervisory, managerial, administrative, technical or clerical work of hire or reward. It makes no difference whether the term employment or express or implied. And the seventh definition is employer. It comes under section 214. Employer includes in relation to an establishment which is a factory, the owner or occupier of the factory, including the agent of such owner or occupier, the legal representative of a deceased owner or occupier, where a person has been named as the manager of the factory. In relation to any other establishment, the person who or the authority which has the ultimate control over the affairs of the establishment, where the said affairs are entrusted to a manager or managing director or managing agent, such manager, managing director or managing agent. Next, salary or wage. It comes under section 221. Salary or wage means all remuneration other than in respect of overtime work capable of being expressed in terms of money, which would terms of employment expressed or implied were fulfilled, be payable to an employee in respect of his employment or of work done in such employment. It includes dearness allowance, that is DA, that is to say all cash payments by whatever name called paid to an employee on account of a rise in the cost of living. But it does not include the following items. The 7 items are follows. Any other allowance which the employee is for the time being entitled to. The value of any house accommodation or of supply of light, water, medical attendance or other amenity or any service of any consensual supply of food grains or other articles. Any traveling concession, any bonus including incentive, protection and attendance bonus. Any contribution paid or payable by the employer to any pension fund or provident fund or for the benefit of the employee under any law for the time being enforced. Any retrenchment compensation or any gratuity or other retirement benefit payable to the employee or any ex gratia payment made to him. Any commission payable to the employee. These are the 7 points that does not include the following items under D.